I drive a Ferrari 355 Cabriolet. What's up? I have a ridiculous house in the South Fork. I have every toy you can possibly imagine. And best of all, kids, I am liquid. So, now you know what's possible. Let me tell you what's required.
Life advice, lifeadvicerr@gmail.com. We have some good ones, long awaited. I know that the boys had a follow-up here, though.
Yeah, let's go back to the Open real quick. I'm sure everyone was like, whoa, this old coach that you were talking about. Can I get this right? His name is Dick Harter?
Yeah.
Is that a top 5 name of all time?
You guys like that name, huh?
What's the spelling on it?
Harter. Dick Harter.
Oh, wait, this
We lost him 10 years ago.
Dick Harter. All right.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. Got to be a tough one growing up. There's not a lot of dicks running around anymore. Not a lot of young. Yeah, not a lot of dudes under 30 named Dick.
I got to tell you, it's not a name I hear any of my friends naming their kids. Not a lot of Richards, but that pivots into Dick. Dick Pole, the old baseball guy. That's an all-time name. Of course, they call Rich Hill, the pitcher, Dick Mountain, but I don't think they call that I don't think you hear that one. You don't hear that one a ton on the broadcast. Yeah, Dick Harter, Pottstown, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
He went to Penn, really smart guy. And he was the head coach at Penn State. He was the head coach at Penn. And then he joined the Pistons as an assistant in 83. Pistons, Pacers, Hornets, Knicks, Trailblazers, Pacers again, Celtics with Jim O'Brien, and then went with Jim O'Brien to Philadelphia. And then I think he was with Jim O'Brien again in the Pacers. So that was Jim O'Brien's guy, Dick Harter. Can't call everything was his motto. And he would have puked watching game 2 last night.
Yeah.
Or actually some of these playoff games. Did we cover it?
I think so. I mean,
I'm covered.
Yeah. Just needed to point it out. I felt like we couldn't let that go unchecked. It just jumped off the page at me.
I agree. I'm glad we could educate you in America on this, and down under New Zealand, Australia and New Zealand. Shout out. What's going on? Let us know where you're at. When you watch Nets games, they go, Brooklyn, where you at? And somebody be wearing a Nets jersey in Sri Lanka. It's always a good segment. People always love that. The Martha's Vineyard Times used to do that. That you would hold a copy of the Times and you'd be like, check it out in Cape Town. I don't know. You guys seem fascinated by this. Okay. Why don't we get to the emails? Tons of hot sauce people chiming in. One guy wrote this guy wrote this manifesto on why it was okay and then buried the lead that he does it all the time. And my point is very simple. Again, if everyone who walked in thought they were entitled to a bottle of hot sauce, then there would never be any, or you could just buy your own. I'm sure you guys.
People? How are there so many of you?
Here's what I would ask too. And I know the pushback on this would be, have you guys brought burgers and French fries home? I imagine a lot of people listening to the podcast have done this. Do you have ketchup in your house, or do you think that like all the ketchup packets are supposed to cover it all? Because I know that that's the difference, is that you don't have the little Chipotle or Cholula Tabasco. You don't have those little packets to take home the same way you do ketchup packets if you go to a burger place. But my guess would be is that most people still have ketchup on hand at home to add, because the packets can get annoying. Sometimes a packet goes bad, especially if you feel like it's a little firm. You go, what's going on with this packet? And that means it's turned on you. You got to get those out of the mix. We did it the other day at my place. Feel great about it. I would just disagree. You take the bottles and you think you're right. There you go.
That's insane to me. I can't believe there's so many of you guys out there.
I can't believe that you're not, no offense, Kyle, like a guy that would argue to take the bottle.
It's fair game, dude.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I'm an adult now. I mean, I'm sure I've walked out of the what's it called? The student union with something I should have walked out with before. And, I either don't remember it or shoved it so far down. It's just out of my mind. But I'm just, as an adult where I'm at now, I wouldn't do that. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
Kyle, were you a guy that had like stolen street signs in your apartment in high school and college?
High school, we had Weed
like a
Street.
stop
That was
sign.
it. We had Weed Street. That was it. And then there was a one way that was like
Men at Work.
everybody signed.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I can see
Weed
that.
Street, everyone was always taking Weed Street.
Wait. There was a street named Weed Street in your town?
Yeah. And it was basically like, they're putting up the new Weed Street sign. Somebody's going to grab it. Might as well be us. Because everybody stole that sign.
I try to think of a sign that would be stolen more, and I don't know that I would, because the guy that would want the Weed Street sign does not care, and he's going to steal it.
No, and there's a line of people that are waiting for the town to put the new sign up so they can be the one who has Weed Street too. So it's like, I don't think that sign was ever there for very long before somebody stole it again. So they must have just had a continuous, they must have had like a subscription package to the Weed Street sign, because it just was like, all right, as soon as you can send the next one, please do it, because it's gonna be gone.
Yeah, at some point we got to get a name change on that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what would be the best way to do something something way less popular.
Yeah, absolutely. But I don't know. I think it's still there. I don't think they changed it. I mean, this was 10, 11 years ago now.
Like Jesse Smollett Road. You're like, all right, no one's going to take this. I think just what would be no, I don't. Weed Street. I can't believe it. All right, let's go. All right, this is it Jesse or is it Jussie?
I think it's Jussie. Yeah.
But you say it fast enough, nobody can tell what you're trying to say.
Yeah. All right. No problem. All right. People have been waiting on this one, and our basketball hoop guy followed up. There's been a few hits that we've had in Life Advice where people just wanted to just make it a community, and we appreciate that. But our guy finally followed up, and I'm so happy. All right. So this is a great way to set the tone, especially if you guys getting after it on Thursday because of a holiday that I think Corona started pumping up about 20 years ago. Because I remember when I was bartending and I'd be like, wait, what's with Cinco de Mayo? People really doing this now? I'd be like, yeah, we have signs from Corona. We're supposed to hang up. We had a Corona special. And here we are 20-something years later. We figured out another day where you could drink during the day and not be judged. So
shout out.
That's just what people kind of want deep down. All right, here we go. Basketball hoop guy here. Here is the follow-up you asked for. My plan was to listen to your advice and do whatever you suggested, praying that your advice would be to tell him just to leave.
Sorry.
Unfortunately, it never got to that point. ... Friday after work, I come home to 13 kids in my front lawn. Some playing basketball, others riding a scooter up and down the driveway, most just hanging out. I noticed some of the kids are playing with a football that I've never seen before. It looked familiar, so I asked about it. Turned out it was mine. They went into our garage and took the football to play with. They also grabbed another one of my basketballs. Needless to say, I was pretty frustrated, but let them continue playing. We don't get many nice days in Minnesota, so I figured I'd let them take advantage. All right, so the Minnesota thing also factors in here. Salt of the earth, Vikings. Less hostile Vikings. Fast forward a few hours, and it's past the 7 p.m. deadline, and they're still out there. I go outside to ask them to leave, and they respond with, we're just finishing up a game, and we'll leave when it's done. 45 minutes later, and they're still there. At this point, I've had enough and tell them to leave immediately, and that we're done playing basketball here for a while. As you can guess, my football and basketball leave with them. They have since tried to return a couple times, and each time I turned them away. I don't feel great about it, but I will not lie. Being able to eat dinner without kids screaming in the background felt fantastic. My house has not been egged yet, so I'm hoping they've accepted the decision. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. P.S. I didn't mention it the first time, but there's a park with a hoop that's 5 minutes away.
Oh, fuck you. Okay.
A 5-minute away walk.
Come on.
I realize that this is not as convenient as walking across the street, but if a hoop is all they need, I feel like that's more than enough. PPS. I also thought about buying them a hoop, but I don't think I should be financially responsible for providing the kids entertainment just because I opened up my driveway to them a few months ago. Maybe this makes me a jerk. I don't know. All right. Wow. More details, more facts. This is your driveway? I thought it was kind of like a cul-de-sac hoop thing that maybe was in the front, and this is a non-starter.
Yeah.
Yep. You got to tell the kids it's over. It's over. They're going in. They're taking your stuff. They're passing the deadline. You had what sounds like the first quiet meal you've had in months, and you loved it. So this is over. This is over. And you shouldn't feel bad about it at all. I think it's first of all, you check every box of like what you would want out of somebody's character to go, I wanted to do the right thing. I wanted these kids to have a place to go. But I didn't realize that you were getting worked like this. These kids ran you over.
They're ruthless.
And this isn't even debatable at this point. Like they're probably going to be playing video games most of the time anyway. So walk to the hoop. That's 5 minutes away. So yep, we're all on your side now. And the fact that it came from a place of such, I don't know,
He had a pure heart.
Decency isn't the right word. This is like you were trying to do something incredible for these kids, and they're kids. It's a weird age. Like 13, 14 is kind of awesome because you start to like see the beginning of what the adult is going to be like, but then you also are reminded that you're like only a couple years away from being 10. So you'll still have this cocktail of stupid but mature going on. It's such a fascinating age for dudes, especially where you're still like a kid, and then it's like, oh, but sometimes you're a little adultish too. This is weird. But no, I don't think you did anything wrong, and who knows? I mean, I don't know if your house is going to get egged on. You can't live that way. I didn't know they were in your driveway, dude.
No, so that was what I pictured the whole time, and this was inevitable when you put 14.
You thought it was a driveway, Kyle?
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
and I was like, this is crazy that you're down to do this, but fine. But yeah, this was inevitable because when you put 13-year-olds on an honor system, it's like, well, that's not going to last. It's just not going to last. And like, I'm not surprised at all that they went into your shit and started rifling around and probably, got bikes and scooters in your grass. And, I'm sure you're going to have some weird patches in your lawn from where they were doing whatever they're doing. So, I'm glad that you got upset enough to not feel like a jerk for wanting your own driveway back. I'm glad that it just took you getting upset enough to be like, hey, we're going to be done for a while. And then to be able to keep that and turn them away when they came back again. Cause I think he was worried about breaking down again, but yeah, this was the way it always had to be. So I'm glad it didn't take that long.
And I feel like it's good that we got clarity too, because now I feel much better about it as well. The only thing I could think of is maybe that park 5 minutes away probably has double rims. So there's a good chance it's more than just the distance. And they're like, oh, it's probably a better hoop at this guy's house. I'm not saying that's right, but I get why a 13-year-old would be like, dude, let's use the better hoop. Like, no brainer. So I don't know. I think you did the right thing. It sucks, but be a dick. It's fine.
I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to zag on the double rims because just think about the shooters that these kids are going to become. Double rims. If I had a kid, we'd have fucking triple rims at my house.
I had this guy that I grew up with who claimed that he was the next JJ Redick because they both grew up with gravel driveways. He's like, yeah, all I do is work on shooting. I don't work on dribbling, so I'm going to be the next JJ Redick. I was like, okay.
Yeah, well, you conveniently left out the fact that JJ developed into like an incredible off the dribble pull up guy. Like
he's also 6'5", great athlete.
I thought JJ was going to be terrific, and it was after studying him in the like I got this one right, get plenty wrong, but his free throw rate, and I go, wait, there's way more to this guy than just he's the outside shooter from Duke who's not going to play in the league anyway. I guess because he didn't say it was his driveway, but Kyle, you thought it was. The driveway thing changes everything, and now I'm actually worried we're going to get an email from this guy in 6 months saying, so I'm at my company and 13 people have been promoted that were below me, ahead of me, and now I don't know what to do. Now I'm worried about you actually sticking up for yourself a little bit more here. So look, problem solved. Maybe somebody will do something in your house. Who cares at this point? That's nuts. No, you can't have the neighborhood hang. Kids start smoking cigarettes in a year. You don't need that.
Yeah.
Anything else on that? I think we're good, right?
No, you did the right thing. Just stay strong, pal.
Okay.
They stole his fucking football, dude. God damn it.
Yeah, totally. Got an email here saying that can you settle a Harden Curry debate? 6 foot, 208, 36 years old. I've let the pandemic and my first child get the best of me in terms of my dad bod. That's fine, man. Still have a wet jumper though. Hit 5 threes in a game. Oh wait, hit 5 threes in game 4 of my Sunday pickup game.
Game 4.
Game 4. Fuck. Keep us posted on game
series,
5.
Dude, yeah.
What kind of format are you guys? 2-2-1-1-1 or 2-3-2 back in the day? Anyway, that's not important. No, it was very important. I need you to settle an argument. I have a buddy who's convinced that you could replace Steph with Harden and the Warriors would be just as good, if not better. I don't need to read the rest of the email. Your friend is wrong. Next email.
Yep.
Nice.
We're good.
Glad we finished that one up.
Yep. Absolutely terrible email. Not a terrible question. Great email. Great email. 5 threes, game 4.
You can
That's a swing
never
game.
trust that friend again. Like, I would never take his opinion seriously on any topic for the rest of your lives. You might have to unfriend him, honestly.
Yeah, I wouldn't. If he told you about a stock tip, I'd
Nope.
just short it.
Zag.
I'd be like,
Yep.
no. Nope. Okay. This is great. Big fan. Used to listen to SVP and Russillo religiously during my first job after law school back in the day. Kind of lost track of you. No offense.
Happens.
Busy. We got a busy guy over here. Wow.
What happened to Russillo?
Doing stuff.
Yeah. It is a little weird every now and then when I run. What happened to you? What are you doing now? I didn't fucking become a cobbler. Like, we're still doing things that from a rather noticeable, like, this isn't some, I don't know. Every now and then when that happens, I'm like, that kind of shocks me that you liked me enough to listen to me every day. And then you were like, oh, you are doing a podcast? Okay. No offense. No problem. None taken. Recently, the life advice bits started popping up on my YouTube and I'm hooked again. What's the story with that? These are all on YouTube?
No. Some of them are.
Is it us or is it? I thought it was a guy. Or
Well, not from the official Ringer YouTube. I'll say that.
Right.
So there could be a bootleg thing going on.
Oh, but it's
So
just
how would
the
they get
audio?
the video? They would be able to get the video. Yeah, I don't know.
Correct. Yeah. So it's just audio and they're like separating them out and stuff like that.
Levels of knowledge for me. I would say sports is pretty high. I would say when the Bond guy comes on CNBC, it goes way down. I'm still not quite sure what he's saying. There's plenty of financial stuff I don't know anything about. What we are or don't have for the YouTube thing is like the lowest level of information that I could ever have on a topic. So,
I just looked it up. It is. I don't want to give the name out because I don't want to. Go to the Ringer. There is some stuff there, but there is a bootleg situation happening with just audio. Yeah.
Okay. All right. What are the parameters for intro? You've probably covered this. I didn't really know why it even happened. We weren't asking for it. All right. None of that matters. Okay. Here's the point. On his driver's license, now reading the email, I'm 6'1", which again is accurate, but you can say whatever you want on your driver's license. When people give you their measurables, are we assuming these to be as close to as accurate as possible? Is there an understanding that most people round up regardless? Does it change on the extremes, i.e. the 5'6" guy round up as much as he wants? Maybe even 5'8" is acceptable because we know a 5'8" guy is going to at least say he's 5'9". Anyway, put differently, pretend you're me. How tall are you? He says that he's 6'1" 3/8". So you're like 6'1.5". Everybody's going to round that up. So he goes second part. Well, I guess that wasn't even the email. All right, whatever, dude. You're 6'2". Congrats. Second part of the email, am I an asshole? I was on a ski trip with my dad. All right, this actually leads it good because everybody lies about their height and they lie about 40 times. All right. I lied about a 40 time once in front of a strength and conditioning coach while I was talking to a girl in my 20s, and he destroyed me in the moment.
Ouch.
I don't even know why I cared. I don't know why I said it. I probably had a bunch of beers with me and was like, yeah, whatever. And he's like, dude, if you would run that, you wouldn't be talking to us right now. I was like, well, maybe I'm really friendly. And he's like, there's no way you ran that. And I was like, no. And then he's like, there's no way. And I was like, okay, now you're making it awkward. I was like, we don't even know each other that well. I was like, I'm talking to somebody over here. And so anyway.
The funny thing about that, too, is does the average girl even know what a good 40 time is?
No, there's not one girl. There will not be one female ever that goes, I wasn't that sure, but his 40 time was sick.
Yeah. I don't date sub 4'8" guys. So
yeah, right. Like, he doesn't have much of a job. I think he lives at home, but God, he runs like a 4'6" still. I don't even know why. I think I was just telling some story, and then the guy jumped in because there's never ever been another moment because I actually wasn't like straight line fast. I wasn't like super fast. I was always fast with the ball. If I had the ball, fast. If I didn't have the ball, I wasn't that fast. And so I don't even know. I obviously had to do with drinking. Okay, let's just get to this. All right. Was on a ski trip with my dad and 2 family friends. The dad of my high school best friend, who was not on the trip, and his son, 25-year-old, who also played D1 soccer at a Big Ten school. Okay, so here we go. So the guy emailing his dad. I just want to make sure everybody follows here. his best friend's dad. The best friend wasn't on the trip, but the younger son was there. All right. So everybody's on the same page.
Yeah.
Can I make it more confusing by trying to make it less confusing? Probably so. We'll call that son Josh. The drinks had been flowing that day at dinner. Josh casually drops he ran a 4.39 in high school, to which I replied, let me guess, hand time by your dad? Turns out that was the case, but it came up again, and I had no problem explaining to him that he was never in his life as fast as Jamar Chase, who was playing in the playoffs that weekend, or the handful of other world-class athletes who were able to run that fast every year at the NFL Combine. It didn't stop there, though. Somehow the conversation continued, whether it was him or his dad, honestly not sure, still proclaiming he had that level of elite speed. Something about, well, those guys carry around more weight.
Something about.
As simple as that, dude.
Right.
Simple as that.
Right, because
No, I'm lean quick, dude. Don't worry about it.
Right, by the way, all those guys that run those times are smaller. Like every now and then, yes, this is the freak D end or whatever. I mean, I get it.
Yeah,
but
DK Metcalf.
like every now and then you'll see an NFL receiver with his pads off. You're like, I'd kill that guy. You wouldn't, but you see their build. And they're really fast, man. They make all that money, and there's only so many in the world that can do what they do. But your friend's friend, or I guess your best friend's younger brother, all right. So anyway, being honest, I don't remember the exact specifics of the conversation because I blacked out that night.
Awesome.
At some point, I called him out hard enough, saying something like, well, hey, what are you doing here with us? Which is
Fair.
a fair rebuttal, blacked out or not. Why are you working for insert post-college not sexy starter job? You should be on the Cincinnati Bengals. They need you. I also jokingly challenged him to a foot race that night. It's the dead of winter at a ski resort, so clearly that wasn't ever going to happen. I could just see these guys hammered at Red Line and Vale being like, all right, from here to the bridge.
The hallway. That's what the long hallways are for in hotels.
Yeah.
For races.
I was sorry. Yeah, hallways. Perfect for 40 times. Weather controlled.
Mm-hmm.
Climate controlled, some
Yep.
would say.
Barefoot.
Fast carpet. Yep.
Barefoot? I don't know about that. I definitely was a dick about it, but I feel like you should be able to handle pushback if you're going to brag about how athletic you were, both generally and especially when the measurables you're using are in fact useless. Turns out Josh had a meltdown later that night after dinner.
Awesome.
Arguing and yelling, cursing at his dad, saying he was going to quit his job, even trying for Cincinnati.
I was going to say, goddamn.
He even booked an early flight home on his parents' credit card.
What?
Yeah, that kid sucks, huh?
Yeah, damn.
I heard bits and pieces about this over the next few days of the ski trip. We also all skied together, and things seemed to be totally fine. Didn't think much about it until a month later. I was back in my hometown and hanging out with my high school best friend, his brother, and he said he heard about what happened and was pissed off at me. Apparently it was my fault. Josh had a meltdown and I was out of line. He heard about this from his dad and his mom, who had to deal with the flight situation. He had not talked to Josh about it. I explained what I thought happened, told him I definitely couldn't remember everything, and expressed regret that Josh had this meltdown. But I also stood my ground and said it wasn't on me. We were all adults having an animated conversation over dinner and drinks. I can't for control that someone would react that way. I have no idea what was said between Josh and his dad after dinner. It kind of sounds like there are a lot of other factors and issues at play there. Sure, none of this happens that night if I didn't reply to his, I ran a 4.39 in high school the way I did, but that's not how the world works, right? Am I the asshole?
No, dude, you're fine.
You want to start?
I just think like this. He's an adult. I think the parents should be more concerned that the kid's 25, throws a temper tantrum, and then makes them purchase a different flight. I mean, that's their own problem. So I mean, they're probably projecting a little bit of their I don't know, anger or displeasure of the situation onto you, and it sounds like they can't stand up to their youngest son there. But yeah, I don't know. I just would kind of let this go. I wouldn't say much about it, and it'll probably be normal soon. It's only been a month, so whatever. Maybe if you want to apologize to the parents, if you ever see them, just be like, hey, sorry that this all ended up this way. But I would craft my apology and like, sorry about the situation, not like, sorry I called out your lying son, but have to make it sound better than that. Like, I would apologize for the situation if you really like. You said they're family friends, so I'm sure you like them, but it sounds like they've got their own issues with that kid that they're not ready to address. So I wouldn't be apologizing for all that. Just say sorry for the situation. But I mean, I don't even think I would apologize to my friend who wasn't there. Definitely wouldn't be doing that. I could be a little more honest with him than his parents. So that's all I got.
It sounds like this kid is just insecure about his life too. I would imagine. He probably struck a chord, and he's like, maybe I could have been something else. And not saying he's going to play for the Cincinnati Bengals, but like maybe he thought his athletic career was going to be better. It didn't work out. Now he's working a job he doesn't necessarily want, and you really struck a chord. I don't think that's your fault. Like if he's going to talk all this, talk himself up and say how we ran at 3.9, I feel like you kind of got to back that up. But here's the thing. He said that in high school. Everybody, the 3.9, like the 40 times in high school are all fake. They're all fake. Like it's like your coach wanted to pump you up, especially if you're good and you're fast. They're going to make that faster than it really is. So I don't know. I think this guy needs a dose of reality.
Did they have your 40 time from high school, Cerruti?
If I remember correctly, I ran, I think, a 4.7. I was pretty quick. But again, I don't think that was real. I don't go around telling people I ran a 4.7 because, in high school, I was probably super pumped about it. I told my buddies and would probably hold it over their head. But once I stopped playing sports, I just like, this isn't useful to me in life. I'm not going to go at a job interview like, hey, also, 3.2 GPA, but my 40 time, 4.7. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, see, that's what I do. One of the things I like about Cerruti so much is that he would actually run a decent time, but then would be like, this is not applicable to everyday life. Why would I use this as any sort of like thing?
It's on his resume. Right?
Yeah, it wasn't very good. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. All right, there's another factor here that we have to discuss. You might be a raging dick blacked out.
Yeah, I guess.
So if you started hammering this kid to the point where maybe it is his own insecurity, maybe it's the younger brother and being propped up and there's other stuff going on, that he has the meltdown, booking a flight in the middle of the night, demanding to leave. I mean, that's a weird reaction to getting called out for something that is likely a lie. But there's also a level of like how much of a lie you can call out, right? Does the lie mess with your world that much? Is it costing you money? Is it messing up your relationship? Like those are the kind of lies where I think you can go at somebody as hard as you possibly want to, because you're like, now you're fucking with me. This doesn't really fuck with you. So I don't have any problem with you calling them out. You're telling us in the email that you don't really remember, and you're kind of hinting at that maybe it was a little bit worse than the email summary, which I think you're kind of hinting at here. And if the brother who is your best friend is still mad a month later, it's just really, what do you care? Like how much do you care about fixing this? I actually disagree with you, Kyle. If it is your best friend, you're right. He should be able to kind of be like, yeah, you know what? My brother shouldn't be going around saying he did a 4.39 in the backyard of my dad timing it. But if you care about the relationship, you should probably try to work it out with your best friend, and then you work it out with your best friend, and then the next step is whatever. But there's a version of this where it's way worse than you think it is. Now, more often than not, it kind of works the other way, where it's, oh, it actually wasn't that bad. Nobody really cares. It's not that big of a deal. But for him to freak out and then the family still be this mad at you, you might have just been like relentless. Some
what
guys
about his dad though? Ask his own dad. It was oddly quiet about what he thought. Yeah, and I feel like it's your dad. He's going to be honest with you about it. And if he says no, it wasn't that bad, or if he says, yeah, man, you stepped over the line, that I would want to know what he thinks in this situation.
That's great. That's great advice. Ask your dad what's going on, and then probably see the kid's parents anyway. And if you really feel bad,
I feel like there's no way he didn't ask his dad though. Why wouldn't, like, his dad would have said something?
I feel like he would have put that in the email though.
Yeah, so maybe his dad also said the kid's just sensitive. I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious. The follow-up is like, oh, good point. My dad hasn't talked to me in 2 months.
Yeah, you may be onto something.
My dad caught an early flight home too. I think he was mad.
Because sometimes it is funny to call somebody out for a lie. Like sometimes it is. But think of the number of times in social settings where you'll just be like, that's not true. Like, that's definitely not true. And you go, do I say something? I mean, most of us won't ever say anything. If it doesn't really have anything to do with you, he's like, whatever. But if it was from on their end where they just kept talking about the 4.39 over and over again, I think you were right, especially because you're with friends in a way, right? Like the brother isn't as close, but I mean, you're all on this ski trip together. So clearly the families are close enough to be like, let's go on a ski trip together. So this isn't out of nowhere. I mean, you could also flip it around. Like, what if you told them you could fly? Are they supposed to just sit there?
Cool, man.
No, my dad.
Awesome.
My dad saw
That's
it.
amazing. Yeah. All right. That'll do it for life advice. Please subscribe and review the Ryen Russillo podcast right on Spotify. Thanks to Kyle and Steve. And we'll talk to you with Bill and I on Sunday, 2-parter. We'll be back next Tuesday.